This week on Under the Radar, I have one simple question. Can't I just watch the footy without all the moral grandstanding? But first, let's address my own blatant hypocrisy. Back on August 30th, I put out this video in which I said the following. Same-sex marriage. It's a big deal in Australia right now, or at least the media is making it out to be. But like a lot of Australians, I can't really get too animated about it. So for someone who can't get too animated about same-sex marriage, I've now talked about it in 4 subsequent videos in the last 3 weeks, including this one. So don't worry, the hypocrisy is not lost on me. I've also been talking a lot about corporate virtue signalling. So this week, why not combine the two? Now, the AFL is probably Australia's most popular sport at this point in time, and just for those overseas viewers, the AFL, or Australian Football League, is basically this.
He did contact of Sinclair, then recovered down the throat of Treloar. Was brilliant stoppage work. Treloar loves to bounce. Got the give and go back as well from Broomhead. From 52 out, lets it rip. Needs a Skinner and got it.
Forced to defend was Shepherd, who punched it clear. Flicked round the body towards Rioli. One grab, couldn't take it. Shepherd there once again. Rioli does really well. Keeps it in play. Gets it back. Tucked in the pocket. Banana. Check side. How do you like that?
Millican measured the kick. It's a good one. Gives Franklin a run. Keith couldn't quite, and Natalia couldn't quite. Now Franklin, he might do what he did at the MCG. He doesn't get the right bounce. Could he do it? He's 50, 48 out. He goes for it. He has done it. Dennis, where are you?
The Tigers over the last 10 scores. Ripped a big fly over the top of Reebok. Reebok, Michael, looking for Mark there.
Now also at this time, the Australian Bureau of Statistics is conducting a postal survey on same-sex marriage. And so the AFL this week decided to signal their virtue by replacing the letters AFL on their logo outside their headquarters with the word yes to show support for the yes vote for same-sex marriage. And to show their unwavering support, they put it up for one day and then took it down again. Because virtue. Now, it's not like the AFL is alone here. Cricket Australia, the NRL and the Australian Rugby Union, as well as dozens of corporates, have shown their support. St Kilda, North Melbourne, Collingwood, Western Bulldogs, Geelong and Gold Coast have all backed the Yes campaign, and the clubs that haven't have basically just said it's not our business to take political stances, it's a personal decision. However, some of the AFL's most prominent personalities have taken it a step further. Port Adelaide President David Coke questioned why AFL clubs are taking a stance on same-sex marriage. A club by coming out is saying this is the view we think all our members should have, and not even political parties are making that decision, Coke said on Sunrise. The process should be, okay, do you represent all your stakeholders, and are you meant to be representing them in something like this? You're a footy club. Now call me old-fashioned, but that's what I would have thought the sensible position is. Consider that the latest poll found 55% support the yes vote, 34% no, and 11 are undecided. So if your fan base is representative of Australia, at least 1/3 of your fan base are no voters. Coach Mick Malthouse said, the AFL will only polarise people and really has no right to be involved in the political world of marriage equality. Yep, exactly. And I thought this quote was probably the best. Former St Kilda coach Grant Thomas said it was a matter for individuals, not groups or companies. The concern I have with the AFL picking stances and trying to be the social conscience for society is I don't have a lot of confidence they actually believe what they say. And that's my gut reaction to most virtue signalling. It's all about posturing. As I've said before, it's not as though this is rooting for the underdog. It's a populist position. It's not controversial to come out in support of same-sex marriage. But if you come out publicly in support of the No campaign, you will be crucified. Just ask Madeline, who kept her last name private, who was sacked as a contractor for an entertainment business in Canberra after she made it public on a Facebook page that it's okay to vote no. The psycho owner of the company, Madeline Sims, defended her decision by saying that advertising your desire to vote no is, in my eyes, hate speech.
Oh, Jesus.
Voting no is homophobic. Advertising your homophobia is hate speech. As a business owner, I can't have somebody who publicly represents my business posting hate speech online. Well, how tolerant? I wonder if that applies to gay people that have decided to vote no. A case of internalised homophobia, perhaps? Or how about the petition to deregister Dr. Pansy Lai after she had the audacity to appear in a Vote No campaign ad? It should also be noted that the AFL headquarters building had to be cleared out because a bomb threat was phoned in. That turned out to be a hoax, but I wonder if that had anything to do with the fact that they left the sign up only for a day. So much for solidarity. But probably the most publicised rant on the situation came from Sam Newman, a man not unaccustomed to a bit of controversy.
Now, before I start this, I know this is going to get hijacked for the predictable people that'll say what it's not. But if this was about the AFL putting yes on the football, was about climate change or global warming or obesity or save the whale or greenhouse emissions or carbon footprint or whatever, I would have exactly the same opinion. The very fact that it's about the yes vote for gay marriage is irrelevant. So please don't say, don't hijack this into something it's not. But who in the hell are these people at the AFL who are telling the football public what they should do in their lives and who they should vote for in any political agenda? Who are you? Who gives you the right to tell people and to put on the football what people should do? For God's sake, there's a plebiscite going on in the country at the minute, the yes or no vote. What right have you got to say what people should be doing? The 3 or 4 million AFL fans, you are saying you should vote one way or the other. Yes, you're saying you should vote for. Who are you? What gives you the right? You are nothing more than obsequious, fawning, sycophantic political whores. You have no right to get involved in political messages. Let people go to the football and do what they want to do. Just watch the game. Keep your contrived and conflicted snouts out of people's lives and let people do what they want to do. It's a release to go to the football. We don't need you. All you're doing is virtue signalling, making yourself look grand when nothing more than overpaid executives making decisions on behalf of no one.
Now, a lot of the audience seem to appreciate those sentiments, and it's hard to disagree. A lot of people use sports as a cathartic experience to forget about problems in their lives, and especially politics. That goes for politicians themselves. One of the great things about sports is that they have the ability to unify people from all walks of life behind a common cause, a team, rather than forcing political views down their throats, which is just divisive. But perhaps that's just the old man in me speaking. Maybe the younger generations want to have their moral superiority bolstered wherever they go. Here's what Erin Molan had to say, an NRL commentator. She's 34 years of age, so perhaps she can enlighten an old fogey like me.
I'll make it very clear, I'm a very, very passionate and proud supporter of marriage equality. I've made it very public that I will, and actually have the other day voted yes already. But I represent me, just me and no one else. The AFL and our other sporting codes represent hundreds and thousands of people, some of whom, unfortunately, don't agree with me. I wish every Australian believed in marriage equality. I genuinely do. But the reality of the situation is they don't. In fact, a fairly large proportion of them don't. That disappoints me, but I respect everyone's right to have an opinion and to express it. Now, I didn't go out of my way to criticise the AFL's move. I was asked on air about it and responded honestly that it does make me uncomfortable. I love sport because it has this incredible ability to unify. So whilst I agree with the position of the AFL, I also believe their actions are unnecessarily divisive, and so much of the response to it has been nasty and vile, much like this whole debate. I hate the thought of so many people I love in same-sex relationships being exposed to all of this. I really do. Just as I don't want people who feel strongly on the other side of the debate to feel polarised and excluded. Now, I agree this issue shouldn't be political, and Carl, you spoke earlier about that. I totally agree, but it has become political. That's just unfortunate. It has become political. Now, we've got a massive weekend of brilliant finals footy coming up, and the focus on sport should be on that. And that is my opinion.
Well, that's not too different from the message that Sam Newman delivered, only a little more cool-headed and well thought out. And I wonder how many yes voters that are footy fans feel the same way. Columnist Rita Panahi summed up the situation well. You'd think the AFL would be a little gun-shy about lecturing the masses on matters of morality just 2 months after 3 of its senior managers were forced to resign for misconduct or on-field violence. Organisations such as the AFL, Cricket Australia and Football Federation Australia rarely make a stand that isn't perfectly aligned to leftist dogma. Cricket Australia doesn't take a stand against Pakistan despite that country's intolerance of religious minorities, including the persecution of Christians. Football Federation Australia doesn't boycott the Arab states for their shameful treatment of women or migrant workers. No, our national team will be in Qatar playing in stadiums built by modern-day slaves, and we will continue to host their teams. If sporting bodies really are concerned with promoting human rights and equality, then they shouldn't be so selective about the causes they embrace or allow party politics to dictate the agenda. For fans, sport often represents an escape from the pressures of daily life. The last thing they want is socio-political issues intruding on their love of the game. Spot on. The AFL should get out of the business of virtue signalling on social causes and just promote the sport, because most of us just want to watch a good game of footy. So, do you like to be lectured to about socio-political causes while watching your favourite sports? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you next time.